Cancer, Spirit is calling you into this collective shift in a way that feels deeply emotional and powerfully transformative. You are being asked to hold space for healing, not just for yourself, but for those around you who are still carrying old pain, fear, or trauma. Spirit says you've always been the nurturer, the one who can feel the undercurrents before others even notice them, and that sensitivity is not a burden. It's your role in this awakening. You're being positioned now to transmute pain into wisdom, to take what your ancestors and even your past self could not resolve and turn it into light. Spirit says this is not about carrying everyone else's struggles. It's about showing through your own healing what is possible. And before we move into your cards, if this resonates, I want to remind you that I offer personal readings starting at $9 and a $99 membership for ongoing monthly guidance where we can go deep into your personal soul lessons. The first card that Spirit brings forward for you is the Moon. Cancer, this is one of your cards, and it's Spirit's way of saying your intuition is central to this shift. The wound tied to this card is illusion. Those moments in your life where fear clouded your vision, where you doubted your inner knowing, or where deception made you question yourself. Spirit says the Moon is here to remind you that your gift is being able to see beneath the surface, to trust what others overlook. Another layer of the Moon is cycles. Spirit says you're completing an old cycle of confusion, of not trusting your emotions or feeling overwhelmed by them. Now those same emotions are your compass. Spirit says your feelings are not weakness, they're direction. On a practical level, the Moon suggests that truths are coming to light. Over the next phase of this shift, hidden information, old patterns, and even subconscious fears will rise. Spirit says do not fear what you uncover. It's being revealed so you can step forward free from shadows. Finally, the Moon shows that your role in the collective awakening is to teach others how to trust intuition. Spirit says your sensitivity is your strength. When you model what it looks like to honor your instincts and your cycles, you empower others to reclaim their own inner wisdom. The second card here is the Queen of Cups. Cancer, this is Spirit affirming your natural role as the emotional healer, the one who feels deeply and leads with compassion. The wound tied to this card is emotional exhaustion, times when you poured into others so much that you felt empty, invisible, or taken for granted. Spirit says that pattern ends here. Another layer of the Queen of Cups is emotional sovereignty. Spirit is saying you're learning now how to hold your compassion without self-sacrifice. You're still the healer, but now you're being asked to set boundaries, to ensure that your love flows from fullness rather than depletion. On a practical level, the Queen of Cups points to your role as a guide or counselor, whether formally or informally. Spirit says people naturally gravitate toward your wisdom, your empathy, and your ability to hold space without judgment. This is part of your calling in this shift. Finally, the Queen of Cups shows that your contribution to the awakening is heart-led leadership. Spirit says when you embody compassion with boundaries, you model what healthy love looks like, and you teach the collective that empathy is power, not weakness. The third card is the Eight of Wands. Spirit says momentum is arriving for you. Things that have felt slow, stagnant, or unclear are going to move quickly. The wound tied to this card is delay. Seasons where you felt like nothing was happening despite your efforts. Spirit says the energy now is changing and fast movement is part of your role in this shift. Another layer here is clarity. The Eight of Wands shows that communication, opportunities, and synchronicities are going to come in rapid succession. Spirit says you must stay open and flexible. Your ability to respond with intuition will be your strength. On a practical level, this may look like sudden messages, new connections, or even invitations that change your trajectory. Spirit says don't hesitate when alignment arrives. Move with it. Finally, the Eight of Wands shows that your contribution to the collective awakening is flow. Spirit says when you allow energy to move through you without resistance, when you embrace speed, change, and synchronicity, you open pathways for others to move forward too. The fourth card is the Four of Pentacles. Spirit is acknowledging that security has always been a deep theme for you. The wound tied to this card is holding on too tightly, whether to people, resources, or comfort zones, because of fear of loss. Spirit says this shift is about releasing that grip. Another layer of the Four of Pentacles is boundaries. Spirit says you are learning to tell the difference between holding on from fear and holding firm in your truth. This is part of your awakening, knowing when to protect your energy and when to let go. On a practical level, this card points to money, resources, or stability. Spirit says you may be called to adjust your relationship with security, learning that true stability comes not just from material things, but from trust in your own resilience and Spirit's provision. Finally, the Four of Pentacles shows that your contribution to the collective is teaching healthy detachment. Spirit says when you release what isn't serving, you show others how to let go of fear and step into freedom. The fifth card is Temperance. Spirit says this is the essence of your role in the collective shift: balance, integration, and healing. The wound tied to this card is extremes, times when your life swung between overgiving and withdrawal, or between hope and despair. Spirit says you're ready now to embody balance. Another layer of temperance is patience. Spirit says your role is not to rush this process, but to allow healing to unfold in divine timing. You are learning that integration takes time, and that peace is built step by step. On a practical level, this card may point to healing work, spiritual practice, or daily rituals that restore balance. Spirit says you are meant to bring together what feels divided, whether in your personal life or in the collective. Finally, Temperance shows that your gift to the collective awakening is harmony. Spirit says when you embody peace, balance, and wholeness within yourself, you radiate it outward, reminding others that integration is possible. Affirmation: I trust my intuition, I embrace balance, and I release fear. My healing is part of the collective healing, and I walk forward in harmony with Spirit's guidance.